The following program is a work of broadcast students from the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland over the past week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their BCIT instructors.
Today on BCIT Magazine, women in Vancouver's downtown east side rally and demand gender-specific housing.
There's a disturbing streak of cat dismembering going on in Maple Ridge.
And a proposed internet bill is sparking some controversy. Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Rafferty Baker.
And I'm Matthew Vandeventer.
A quaint Burnaby street, a suburban paradise, but a list revealed by the RCMP this week points out more than 70 homes in BC neighborhoods that were busted with grow-ops this year alone. No one would suspect, especially the neighbors, that this picture-perfect Blockwatch neighborhood was home to a large grow-op bust of over 633 plants. Right in the center of Wakefield Court, this home in Burnaby was busted in May.
We had no idea there was a grow-up. It was just the downstairs, I think, they used. I was a bit disappointed because this court, that's the first time we've had a grow-up. It absolutely ruins the house. I don't know how bad it is in that house, but I know they've been renovating there.
Despite the grow-up bust, neighbors in this community are not too concerned for their safety.
It's been right next door to me and I never knew.
BC tops the Canada-wide list with more than 70 addresses listed this year alone.
Demonstrators took to the streets to try and shed light on the plight of women in the downtown east side. My co-anchored Rafferty Baker covered this march.
It's becoming a familiar sight in the downtown east side. Some of Vancouver's most vulnerable, women in need of housing, and their supporters take to the streets. The march weaves through the downtown east side, stopping for block parties at various locations. Traffic is held up, while the demonstrators try to bring some levity to their bleak situation. People hold signs and dance to the Carnegie Jazz Band, but the fun is punctuated by messages of pain and suffering.
This lady told the welfare workers that I was using and I was being prostitute and the whole 9 yards, so they took my kid out of school and never seen him again.
And reminders of what grinding poverty means.
To lay our heads down, peaceful at night. It's not just a dream, it should be a right.
But as the march continues its tour of the neighborhood, the finger-pointing begins. Many of the demonstrators blame the surge of affluent people and businesses that is changing the area. Condo developments aren't much help to these women. The march stops at an upscale cafe that has been singled out. An attempt is made to shame the customers into a boycott.
And since they gawked at us today, we're going to gawk at them, right?
Tobin, a customer at the cafe, is sympathetic to the demonstrators' cause.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's hard for me to say if I would stop coming here. It definitely makes me think twice.
For the most part, the businesses here, they're people, they're local people. They're not. It's not a chain. They want to make a living.
Even within the march, opinion is mixed about how to solve the problem, but everyone here agrees that something needs to be done. At least this march brings attention to the hardships some of these women are facing. Rafferty Baker in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Cat owners are wary after several cats have been dismembered in a Maple Ridge neighborhood. Carmen Weld reports, but please be warned, images in this piece may be disturbing to some viewers.
Ridge Meadows RCMP are issuing a warning after 4 pet cats were brutally mutilated. Monica Seuss was the first to find her cat back in July.
When I approached, her, I just noticed that actually it wasn't the cat, it was just the cat's head and the collar placed nicely beside it. So I called the cops. They came by very fast.
RCMP are very concerned with the case and asked Seuss to speak with the SPCA.
Even take a look at it. They said, it's a coyote. They said, we see this all the time, it's a coyote. They didn't even look at it, just tossed it in the freezer and said that they would get back to me, but nothing.
Seuss is frustrated the SPCA have not contacted her since. She is very concerned for her family's well-being.
And the fact that they knew it's my cat and they placed it on my lawn in front of my house, that was what scared me the most. My son's too, so he doesn't know anything, right? Yeah. He's just, asking for his cat, meow, meow, but he doesn't know. Yeah. I don't think he knows. Somebody who does this, they progress from doing animals to maybe kids or who knows what, right? Or larger animals and then kids, and I'm mostly concerned about the kids.
RCMP have no leads at this time, but confirm this is not the act of an animal, and they believe the incidents are linked. RCMP urge residents to keep their pets close to home, and if anyone has any information, to call the police at 604-463-6251. Carmen Weld in Maple Ridge for BCIT Magazine.
The man who fired off a gun moments before the Terry Fox run past his home appeared in court. He's facing charges relating to possession and discharge of a firearm. BCIT reporter Julia Montague has the latest. Julia.
Thanks very much, Rafferty. Well, the accused made his first court appearance on Wednesday to face various weapons charges. But it's not what that's so unusual about this case, but who. The accused is former CFL player Adam Braidwood. Rafferty?
Now, Julia, has Braidwood ever had any run-ins with the law before?
That's right, Rafferty. This is not the first time that Braidwood's made headlines for his behavior off the field. He was recently cut in the off-season by the Edmonton Eskimos after being charged with aggravated assault and forcible confinement. Braidwood first made a name for himself playing high school football in Delta, then after being given a scholarship at Washington State University. So these are all the details we've got so far. It certainly paints a picture of Braidwood's tragic fall from grace, and we will keep you updated as more details become available. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. Parliament released a large bill on Tuesday that combined a number of smaller crime bills together. But as Casey Pitts discovered, one controversial statute has been left out for now.
Online public service ads have jump-started a web campaign against the proposed Lawful Access bill, a federal idea that would allow authorities to search anyone's personal information online without a warrant. Open Media member Steve Anderson explains both sides of the dispute.
The government says that they need to provide the police with more tools to catch criminals, and which we don't really disagree with. The problem is when you enable warrantless surveillance of law-abiding citizens.
After finding out Tuesday that a massive crime bill in Ottawa does not include this idea, BC Civil Liberties Policy Director Michael Vaughan says a common ground must be found.
What's appropriate? What's the right balance? And how do we allow the police to do what they need to do in terms of investigation while safeguarding everybody's rights?
Just to demonstrate the kind of invasive access that authorities will have. One of the spots shows someone talking on a cell phone and then a police officer right beside listening in.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Students on BCIT's Burnaby campus have all sorts of views on Lawful Access.
I've got nothing to hide. If they're just looking at the web pages I've been going to, I'm fine with that.
There's a lot of private information that I find the police don't necessarily need to see.
As long as they infringe as little as possible on our freedoms and the situation actually warrants them going into my files, I believe it's allowed.
Activists against the bill are hoping it will be brought up in Parliament in the next few days. Casey Pitts in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, BCIT's library is offering available resources to their students.
And Braidwood Notes takes a look at the new operating system for iPhone.